Thank you. The Planning Commission meeting for September 10th, 2025 is now called to order. We're here in the Central Parish Courthouse, 607 East Worthy Road in Gonzales, Louisiana, first floor of the council chambers. Item 2, roll call of members. All members are present and attending. Item 3, Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Mark, would you lead us in the pledge?
Sure. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 4, introduction of staff. Ms. Stacy.
Stacy Webb, Recording Secretary for the Planning Commission.
Jerry Iscari, IT.
Spencer Long, Parish Attorney.
Eric Poche, Director of Planning and Zoning.
Tim Bullion, Senior Planner.
Lance Brock, zoning official.
Thank you so much. Item 5, Chairman's comments. This time, Chairman has no comments on this evening. Item 6, public comment on any agenda item. Any members of our public, if you wish to speak on an item, please see Ms. Stacy. Fill out a form for the item that you wish to speak on. You will be given your 3 minutes to talk whenever that time comes up. And if you have any other issues, please let us know. Item 7, staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, in front of you have the normal subdivision monthly report for September 25. The only thing of note is at Gateway Farms, they had to do an off-site drainage analysis, and they just could not get it to work. And I think the option is expired on the property, so that one is not moving forward. I think y'all had given them, back in December, y'all had given them preliminary plat approval conditioned on them being able to complete that, and they were not able to successfully complete it.
Mr. Poche, about Gateway Farms, are they going to come back to us and request an extension by any chance? Or?
No,
Okay, so
they're
they will
not.
be-
I mean, the option and actually, they may have some other plans for the property that don't involve subdivision development.
Okay, thank you so much.
Have we made any decision as to what we're gonna do with the time lapse and between approvals and changing those
Well,
codes?
we're taking a look at that. We've got some things like the things that are on here tonight
Okay.
in a drainage ordinance and in the development code, but that's another one of the, because I've been working with administration and CSRS, and there are a lot of little catch-up items that we want to do, and that's one of them.
Good deal, thank you.
Thank you. Item 8, engineering staff report. Mr. Schro's not here. I take it we got no
No,
report?
I told him it wasn't that big of a deal. He didn't have to come tonight, so no staff report.
Thank you. Item 9, the minutes. Approval or denial of the minutes of the August 13th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Motion.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Villa, second by Commissioner Unitas. All in favor? Any opposed or discussion? That motion passes. Item 10, the consent agenda. Item A, affidavit of mortgage declaration. Devin Jeremini, Lot 6A3, 17189 Butterfly Lane, Prairieville, Louisiana. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Villa, second by Commissioner Kluwat. Here we go. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion passed. Item 11, public hearing to approve or deny the following family partitions. A, Devin Jeremini property, Lot 6A3A and 6A3B, Quality Engineering and Surveying, LLC, Council District 5. Mr. Jeff, are you here to speak on this?
Good evening, Jeff Diamond, Quality Engineering and Surveying, 18320 Highway 42 in Port Vincent, Louisiana. Way's correct, this is a simple family partition, an existing home site with an elderly father who wishes to build a home on a portion of the site.
Okay. At this time, we'd like to open a public hearing. Ms. Stacy, is there anybody here to speak on this?
No.
Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Any comments? Mr. Nasser?
Yeah, I have a, is my mic on?
Yes.
I noticed that item A is the mortgage declaration for the same lot, and then we have a family petition, the following item. There's no issues there?
No, sir. The mortgage affidavit is required if there's a mortgage on the property, and we sent that to the lending institution probably month and a half ago, giving them the opportunity to either comment or come to this meeting. And if they're not here, they have not commented, and so this was their opportunity. But no, there's no issue with that.
Okay, thank you. I make a motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Nasser, second by Commissioner Jones. Do we have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 12, a public hearing to approve or deny the 2025 West Bank Small Area Plan. Introductory reading of the resolution, Commissioner Chairman. Number 2, introductory remarks, Eric Poche, Director of Planning and Development. Item 3, the West Bank Small Area Plan presentation by Baton Rouge, Bayou Rouge Environmental and Planning. And number 4, public comments. Mr. Poche.
All right. First thing is that you should have a copy of the resolution in your packet, and we would like for you to read that resolution.
Okay, let me pull this up. Okay. So as written into the record, the following resolution was offered and moved for adoption by, thus, resolution of the Ascension Parish Planning Commission to adopt the 2025 West Bank Small Area Plan. Whereas, Chapter 17, Section 17-A of the Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances creates the Ascension Parish Planning Commission, and vests said commission with the responsibilities delineated in Louisiana Revised Statutes, Section 33-101 et seq. Whereas Article 4, Section 4-18 of the Ascension Parish Home Rule Charter references the adoption, amendment, and extension of an official plan for the physical development of the unincorporated areas of the parish, and further provides for the creation of a planning commission to enact said plan in accordance with the laws of the state of Louisiana. And whereas Louisiana Revised Statutes, Section 33-106, specifically grants a parish planning commission the authority to make and adopt a master plan for the physical development of the unincorporated territory of a parish. And whereas the 2025 West Bank Small Area Plan is intended to capture the vision of Ascension's West Bank citizens and translates that vision into reality through the adoption and implementation of strategies that will guide further development. And whereas the 2025 West Bank Small Area Plan includes 12 chapters which set forth and include, but is not strictly limited to, the vision forward concerning land use on the West Bank of Ascension Parish, a current profile of the parish, land use designation considerations, housing and neighborhood service recommendations, transportation and mobility assessments and recommendations, drainage, floodplain management, and wastewater assessments and recommendations, recreation and open space recommendations, economic development and redevelopment recommendations, and a strategic implementation plan. And whereas the Ascension Parish Planning Commission, assisted by Bayou Rouge Environmental and Planning, has held community meetings to obtain public input in the creation of said plan. And whereas it is the intention of the Ascension Parish Planning Commission that the 2025 West Bank Small Area Plan be incorporated into and made part of the 2019 Ascension Parish Master Land Use Plan as an update and supplement. And whereas, in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 33-108, a public hearing was properly noticed and held on August 13th, 2025, and at such time, the Ascension Parish Planning Commission received comments from the public with regard to the 2025 West Bank Small Area Plan. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Ascension Parish Planning Commission that it does hereby adopt the 2025 West Bank Small Area Plan with all attachments, maps, and references made therein. And now, therefore, be it fully further resolved that the Ascension Parish Planning Commission Chairman is hereby authorized to file a copy of the 2025 West Bank Small Area Plan with the Office of the Ascension Parish Council, the governing authority for the Parish of Ascension, to record the same with the Ascension Parish Clerk of Court, and to effectuate any other requirements set forth within Louisiana Revised Statutes, Section 33-101, as said requirements relate to the procedure for the adopting and enactor of a master plan. This resolution will be put up for a vote, and we will record the vote therefore.
Ooh,
There's
thank
my
you.
mouthful.
That was a lot. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. After this meeting, the consultants will need a copy to incorporate in the final plan. Should the plan be approved as presented, we will include that in there, and I will get your signature should it be approved. I prepared something that I'd like to express. I don't want to get too long-winded about it, but the parish wants to thank everyone that participated in this process, whether it be parish council members, you planning commissioners, stakeholder committee. Obviously, we had parish staff that participated. Ascension Parish School Board granted us access to some information that we found helpful, and as well as the space for the two public input meetings that we had. And of course, we want to thank the general public and West Bank residents who provided into this project, into the process. The plan covers the next 20-25 years. Population projections for the West Bank are positive based on anticipated industrial development and the supporting businesses that are expected to follow. But growth is not just people moving into our parish. It's those who will come from Ascension and surrounding areas to help make all of this happen. And we certainly would like the West Bank to continue to grow into a vibrant, exciting community with great opportunities for everyone. Ms. Maggie Gleason and Ms. Savannah Morales are here from Bayou Rouge, and one or both of them have a little presentation that they will kind of go through and cover the general idea of the plan and what was incorporated into it, and then answer any questions. And if anyone is here from the public to speak, we'll take any public comment as well.
Okay. Miss Maggie, if y'all want to take the stand.
Do we have the presentation pulled up? There it is, okay. Okay, so my name's Maggie Gleason. I'm the urban planner, community development expertise for Bayou Rouge Environmental and Planning. I like this first slide here because it shows just the beauty of the West Bank and its ties to the mighty Mississippi River, and just kind of a preview to the economic development that's coming. Oh, okay. So I did want to go over what a small area plan is. It is a neighborhood scale land use plan that is not regulatory, but it is going to serve as a guiding document for future land uses, zoning, and subdivision decisions that's going to come to you guys. This plan can also be used to access grants and funding. It's been informed by data, community input, local priorities, and it becomes an amendment to the 2019 Master Land Use Plan. We've got the boundaries up here on the map. The red is going to show that new Highway 3127 corridor, which is basically what has prompted the need for this plan. So I just wanted to touch on some of the process highlights. We use just the very best management practices for planning, where we collected initial data starting in this past winter. We did a review of all the projects that were incoming to the West Bank. And then starting from spring through the summer, we did community and stakeholder engagement. And then this summer, throughout the spring and summer, we drafted the plan just as we collected these little pieces of information. And then here we are today with the final plan submitted to the Planning Commission. So some of the outreach that I wanted to touch on, we did do a heavy social media outreach. We wanted to get the young professional voices out there. So we had 24 posts that went through Facebook, X, and LinkedIn. And then there were 79 people shared those posts on those various social media outlets. Some of our biggest response came from the Community Needs Survey, where we received 132 survey responses with 393 individual comments. 3 community engagements, which were in person, where we received 19 comments total. The first event touched on future land uses. The second event, we presented the plan elements. And then the third one was the open house where citizens got to review the draft plan and give us any final comments. So 19 total comments from those, and then we had 2 stakeholder meetings. So altogether, this plan was written by the community through these 412 comments. And so what did we hear from the community? Well, the top community needs we heard are small business development. They know that these economic development projects are coming in. They want to be a part of that. Health and family services, parks and recreation, affordable and attainable housing, alternative transportation options. Not everybody on the West Bank wants industrial jobs. They want more options. And so skilled trades was the top job, top employment opportunities that was desired. Professional services, industrial and manufacturing opportunities, and arts and entertainment opportunities. And of course, infrastructure, it's always going to be drainage and stormwater. I do want to mention that there is good drainage on the West Bank. Road and safety repairs, they want to prioritize sidewalks and bike lanes, good water quality and reliability, and good wastewater treatment. I did pull out this one particular survey response on what the residents wanted to address, how the residents want to address potential growth on the West Bank. And it was a little surprising to me because it was to increase housing choice. A lot of those conversations we had with residents on the West Bank, some of those side conversations revolved around, well, we want to stay on the West Bank, but we don't have places to live. So I did want to highlight that. And then that can lead into the strategy highlights that we discovered. So there's 2 strategies that this plan is going to take. We're going to look at planned growth development. So here's the map where we've pulled out. So a little context is that the West Bank small area plan is mostly made up of conservation and rural zoning. And that, of course, is the regulatory. That is what they have by right. Now, we identified some places where you could increase some residential areas, employment centers, and then, of course, the new commercial corridor that's going to be triggered from the Highway 3127. And then our second strategy, a little creative, but we discovered an incentivized overlay district, possibly for that commercial corridor. And when you hear overlay, a lot of people think, well, that's going to be additional regulations. However, what we want to design is something that's going to spur housing and incentivize some commercial development. The one negative I do have to say is that the West Bank does have a weak real estate market, and so we may not be able to depend on the market to get some housing and commercial initially. And so what we do want to do is make that incentivized overlay. And so the next steps, adoption, hopefully today, implementation over the next 5, 10, and 20 years. We're going to measure successes and setbacks annually. We're going to revisit the plan and update it as conditions change, typically on a 5 to 7 year cycle. And then always continue to work with your residents, your stakeholders, and developers. And that is the conclusion. Any questions,
Okay.
comments?
Anyone have any questions? Mr. Max?
It's not so much a question as it is just a general comment. And you know that I lead a lot of master plan, transportation plans, urban planning efforts, outside and apart from what I do here. And I want to tell you that, I have a lot of respect for your firm. Wade, the chairman, and I attended the last meeting in Donaldsonville. It was well done, and I think this is an excellent plan. So I just want to compliment your work.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Kluwer? Okay. But yeah, Ms. Maggie, I want to reflect what Mr. Mack said. I've definitely been a part of this, been a part of the stakeholders. Y'all have done an excellent job. Y'all are listening to the people. You're taking this one bite at a time. And we are all looking forward. I'm a lifelong resident, and I really can't wait to see what's going to happen and the positivity that we're bringing to the West Bank and all the wonderful citizens over there. It's about time.
Yes,
So thank you so much, and we really appreciate what you're doing.
thank you, sir.
One more thing.
Oh, Mr. Max.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing. Louisiana Economic Development strongly supports master planning in their economic development activities. The fact that we've generated, or you've generated a master plan, or whatever you call it, a micro master plan,
Small
small
plan.
area master plan, is going to be very, what's the word? Is going to be very useful in working with LED to bring additional investment to that area. So that's important for people to know.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
At this time, we'd like to open up a public hearing. Would anybody like to come up to speak on concern about this? Ms. Stacy, has anybody signed up? Okay, we will close a public hearing on this. Mr. Nasser.
Motion to adopt the resolution is read by the chairman.
Okay, we have a motion to approve as adopted by Mr. Nasser, second by Commissioner Kluwat. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passed unanimously. Thank you so much. Item 13, ordinance, public hearing to recommend approval or denial to the Parish Council amendments to the Ascension Parish Unified Land Development Code. Item A, ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish ULDC Appendix 2 Development Code off-street parking requirements to add new Section 17-2081.g parking area surfacing standards. And item B, the ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish ULDC Appendix 5 Drainage Sections 1, 17503 applicability. Item 2, 17507 placement of fill. Item 3, 17509.3 long-term accountability of mitigation facilities. Item 4, 17501.00 and definitions. Mr. Poche.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I would ask is that this one with the pervious paving and the paving options is going to be fairly straightforward and simple because it's one section. When we get to the other sections, we would ask that you would just either amend and vote on each individual section as it comes up. So first off, we have had some inquiries. Our development code typically or says currently that what is required is dust-free parking in the parish. And there have been some questions and/or concerns that there were no other options available. One of those options that was placed forward, and we were asked to amend the code or to present amending the code to list additional options for pervious paving. Pervious paving is an option that is available in many parts of the country. It's not as popular down here, obviously, because of our more clay soils and whatnot, but we wanted to make those options available, and that's what this section does. It lays forth what's allowed, the types that are allowed in the process that you would need to go through if you wanted to present that in an application as a possible option for parking. It still requires it to be dust-free, but it just gives you some pervious options. So if any of you have any questions of me, make a recommendation. We can make any changes before you push the recommendation forward as far as verbiage or anything like that before we would push it forward to the council. So we're open for discussion if you guys have any questions or comments on it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Poche. At this time, we'd like to open up a public hearing for this. Ms. Stacy, has anybody signed up to speak? Okay, the public hearing for this part is closed. Any commissioners would like to? Okay, Mr. Nasser.
Are we taking both A and B together on a single motion?
No, I don't
No, he
believe
said he's
so.
gonna read 'em
He's going to read them
individually, huh?
individually.
Okay,
So
because you had a public hearing on both of them.
we're just on item A right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what you read,
Sorry,
I understood you were doing both. Okay.
it's all right. Well, just to clarify, that public hearing was for item A. We just read item B. But for item A, the public hearing is closed. Does any commissioners have anything to discuss, add, or motion? Motion to approve by Commissioner Kluwat, second by Commissioner Nasser, and again, that is a recommendation to approve to the council?
Recommendation to approve.
Okay, so our motion is a recommendation to approve to the council as written, the ordinance. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or discussion? That motion passed. Item B, the ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish ULDC, Appendix 5 Drainage Sections 1, 17503, applicability, I can say that one. Item 2, 17507, placement of fill. Item 3, 17509.3, long-term accountability of mitigation facilities. And item 4, 1750100, definitions. What we will be doing is having an approval or denial on each part. Is that correct, Mr. Bochet?
That's what I would recommend.
Okay.
Any changes, amendments you want to make, or if you want to adopt it as, or recommend it as presented.
Okay. So at this time, we will be opening up a public hearing. Ms. Stacy, is there anybody signed up to speak? For the second one, item B.
B1 or B,
Oh, B1, yes, I'm sorry.
no.
Okay. Public hearing is closed for that part. Commissioner Nasser.
So earlier today, I sent a marked-up proposed ordinance to Chairman Wade Scheck-Snyder and to Eric Poche, where I had some marked-up items in it that I wanted to be considered tonight as we discuss it. So I want to ask, as we go through each item, would you highlight those so that we
Sure,
can
certainly.
discuss those?
Yes,
Or you can provide to us some explanation of what you think the ramifications of those might be.
okay,
And we can amend this proposed ordinance to include those.
okay. On applicability, basically, when the ordinance was changed in 2019, all flood zones, including X zone, which is above the 100-year base flood elevation, was added to it. In overall, there are many of these that the reason that we're looking at this right now is because it's some of these have caused hardships, unintended consequences on folks in different parts of the parish, and have made it nearly impossible for them to gain enjoyment and use their property the way that they originally intended. When this was passed back in 2019, it was always anticipated that after things had gone forward, we see how it reacted in how people used it and what effects it would have if we noticed that there were some things that we would recommend going back and changing it. One of the things with the X zone is that you have folks that are not in a flood zone that are being required they have to get elevation certificates. You have instances in the city of Donaldsonville where you have, because the Donaldsonville West Bank is probably about 90 to 95% of it is what's considered an X zone and not in a flood zone. But the code requires that the adjacent base flood elevation be used. Say, for instance, if someone is setting a mobile home or building a home or setting a generator, and you end up in situations where you may have an adjacent base flood elevation that's 6, 8, 10 feet higher than the existing ground where homes have existed, never flooded for years. It's just things like that. And so the first one of these, 17503 applicability, is basically to remove the X zone and only include in this drainage ordinance properties impacted that are in, all flood zones except for the X zone. So that would basically be removing the X zone from having to fulfill the requirements of this ordinance.
Mr. Chairman, one of the things that I'm concerned about is, and I deal with this in my professional career, there are numerous times where people do not understand and know which zone they're in. And we have had people who have experienced flooding in an X zone. That elevation certificate requirement, I hate to say it, and as much as headache it's caused me, I agree that they should have to have it. It verifies, it shows that this is where it needs to be. We have too many mobile home people who get their houses installed, they go to get their electricity on, they find out, oh, I'm in an X zone, but I'm still not high enough. And that's happened numerous times in the parish. I'm not real supportive of eliminating elevation certificates even for X. I mean, it validates what they should do. That's one of my biggest concerns.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Nasser.
He almost called me Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Wade. I want to be sure that as we go through all four of these components of this drainage section, that we're not doing anything that is going to conflict with what HUD's requirements are for community rating system and for NFIP insurance. You know, I don't want to do something in a small area that's going to end up impacting the flood insurance costs across the
Correct.
entirety of the parish. So I'm asking you a question. Is there anything in here that I should be worried
No,
about?
we looked through this as we were working this up and together and got our floodplain administrator. Nothing in here is going to negatively impact our participation in the flood insurance program.
Any other questions or comments?
Motion to adopt, what do we have, are we recommending this? A motion to recommend approval to the council for B1.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend approval to the council of item B1. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Unitas. Do we have, anybody have any comments, criticisms? Okay, we'll put that to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm gonna have one oppose, just because I really want to keep that X in there, but that motion does pass 6-1. Item 2, placement of fill.
Okay, this is where it gets a little more fun.
Yeah.
Placement of fill, obviously, you've got in the packet that you have, there were a couple of things that we were looking to do. Number one was to specify again, should the X zone be removed, that would be taken out of the equation. And then there were a couple of things, number one being lots that are larger or smaller than 1/2 of an acre. There are situations where you have folks that are on a 4 or 5 acre piece of property that have more than enough room to mitigate however much fill they need to mitigate, but they're limited by the current 36-inch average fill. Now, back in May of 2020, an amendment was added to that on top of the allowable 36-inch average fill for residential homes, that you could put an additional 24 inches, but it had to be included in either a chain wall or the foundation of the building. In other words, the last 2 feet, you wouldn't have that return to grade. So one of the ideas is to remove that limitation on a lot larger than 1/2 of an acre, and that would include residential lots as well as commercial lots. And I have to tell you, make you aware that the parish president is not in favor of removing it off of moving that limitation off of the subdivision requirement. That's number one. The second, other than the restriction, is on a lot that is smaller than 1/2 of an acre. We had situations where the code required you to be 10 feet from any property line with your fill. And if you've got someone that's got a 5-foot setback on a building, that causes us to have to tell them that they've got to lose an additional 10 feet of their property because of the fill requirement. So what this is also asking to do is to, instead of the code stating that it would be regardless of setback, it wouldn't be placed any closer than 10 feet from the property line, regardless of setback, what it does is it allows you to build your structure to the property line as long as any fill that is placed within that 10-foot limitation is included in a chain wall. In other words, you may have a situation, because we have an overhang, the setback goes to the overhang. So you can imagine if you've got a 1-foot overhang and you got a 5-foot setback, the slab of your house is gonna be 6 feet from the property line. And what what this would allow folks to do is, you would have 2.5, 3 foot of exposed slab, and then they would be allowed to put 2% slope away from their slab, as the building code requires them to do. But the main purpose for the 10-foot limitation was to make sure that they had enough room to provide any drainage so that they did not directly impact and send water to their adjacent neighbor. So that's the second one in this. Halfway, I'll make sure I cover everything else. And I do not believe the changes from the information that you were sent, the things that were added was, one of the recommendations or one of the changes that was sent, that was requested, was to remove the average fill not exceeding 36 inches for subdivisions, large-scale developments, townhomes, condos, et cetera. That's the one that the parish president is not in favor of. For commercial lot development, what was changed or added was that on any lot less than 1/2 of an acre across a commercial development, that you would not be able to exceed 36 inches. Now, this does not impact commercial subdivisions. Commercial subdivisions are a different story. That's more of a subdivision, like a regular subdivision. This is more for the individual lots. And what was added under the commercial portion, number 1, was to remove the 36-inch limitation on anything, to remove the limitation on anything greater than 1/2 of an acre on a lot, and to also allow them to go to the setback line with their fill in the chain wall, as was just described for the residential. But in commercial and individual lots, you have situations where they're having to require waivers for parking lots, because a lot of times parking lots, they want to take those 2 to 3 feet to the property line. And a change in here that would ensure, that would fill for any parking areas within any setback must be engineered and constructed and certified with zero impact to adjacent properties, because that's the main concern. A lot of times when you have a commercial development, it's next to another commercial piece of property. And as far as the parish is concerned, as long as they take care of their detention, any field mitigation, should they have that, and they can provide drainage, whether they do it jointly or separately, so that neither one of them impacts the other one negatively. That would prevent us, because going for a waiver requires myself as a planning director to sign it. It requires the parish president to sign it, and it requires Mr. Ron Savoy to sign it. So that adds some time. And the way that we were looking at it was, just as I stated about the coordinated, concentrated effort, as far as the fact also that these are engineered, whereas in a residential lot, they're not. So the concern is less there. And so, just to summarize, I guess, the changes and the recommendations that you have in the packet that you have in front of you are remaining the same. There's something that you have to consider. Number 1 is under item C, which you do not have in there, but that was sent to you, would remove average fill not to exceed 36 inches throughout the development, and that shall not exceed 36 inches on any individual lot within the development. You have to decide whether you want to recommend adding that change or not recommend adding that change when you move it forward. As well as for commercial lot development, under paragraph D, average fill shall not exceed 36 inches, and this would be added on any lot less than 1/2 acre. And then you would also repeat the same information as you have under item 3 on your packet, but it would be within any setback line according to the zoning tables, placing fill closer than 10 feet to any property line for commercial properties on individual lots as well. So that would, and I know this is probably getting confusing, but I wanna take these one at a time, I guess, and look at it. So instead of me keep continuing to go through this, I guess the best thing to do is to look at each recommended amendment, have a discussion, and you guys decide how you want to, if you want to make a recommendation to add that to the recommendation to the council or not. And the first one would be to remove the average fill exceeding 36 inches in major minor subdivisions, large-scale developments, PUDs, SPUDs, townhomes, condominiums. That's the first thing that I would like for you to consider.
Okay.
And that would be, I'm sorry,
Go
Mr.
for it.
Chairman, Mayor. That would be the first line in item C.
C1,
507C1, yes.
yes,
First line in 507.
that's correct, as to whether or not to remove that line and remove that requirement.
Let me just, if y'all don't mind, I just want to make sure I have this clear. The removal of this, let's say we have a new subdivision that wants to come, they need to bring in 4 feet of fill to accommodate.
Mhm.
If we remove this, are they then allowed to bring in 4 feet of fill?
Yes, they would be
Okay.
allowed to bring in as much as is necessary that they can mitigate and provide detention for, just
Okay.
as it was before the ordinance was changed
This
in
was back in like
2019.
2018, 2019.
Yes,
under-
that's
okay.
correct.
Right. Yeah, this was something that a lot of people, and I don't know how many people are aware of this, but this was very much discussed amongst the last council and last administration. It was a big point of contention about the arbitrariness of the 36-inch fill. Did we, and I ask you this, Mr. Poche, did we ever get something from our engineering review or whatever saying some type of validity that this was not just an arbitrary number, that we had specific reasoning behind that height?
I think the original thought was that depending on the width of the front face of the lot, 36 inches in the code also requires that you do not exceed 3 to 1 on the return slope. So I think it was looking at the practicality and the size of building or structure that could be built on the lot, coming up 3 feet, returning the grade at 3 to 1. I think that's ultimately where we ended up and why the 36 inches was put forward.
And that's similar to what I understood. Ms. Nasser, you want to chime in?
Yeah. So if, just for discussion purposes,
Yes.
right? If we leave this in, and we say that the average fill cannot exceed 36 inches, as it was originally proposed, right?
Correct.
You can still reach the 48, and I know developers and people don't like this, but you can still reach it if you go pier.
Well, yes, I mean.
You can reach the elevation without the
Yes.
fill.
Yes, that's correct. It just, and what I'm hearing from folks, the biggest concern is the areas of the parish that are being developed more now with the housing prices and the cost of property and all of that. You're starting to move down more to the southern and eastern end of the parish where it's lower and it's more and more difficult to develop. And that's the concern that I hear.
And we do have a requirement that any fill that's brought in has to come in from a certain geographic area, the watershed,
Well, the
drainage
subdivisions
basin.
must mitigate their fill on their property. They are not allowed to go off-site to mitigate their fill.
Any other discussion?
So we're asking just to eliminate the 36-inch height requirement.
Just for just
For that
for
particular-
major minor
less than half
subdivisions,
acre.
large-scale developments, townhome subdivisions, condominiums, and PUDs.
Okay. Mr.
But you
Villa.
still have to, but you still have to mitigate whatever that volumetric calculation
Oh, yeah,
is
yes, that's
on that
correct.
particular
The
property.
mitigation requirements would still be there, correct.
And this ordinance would apply to only new developments or take existing where there's still residential lots to be?
No, I mean, this is because in the code, it's separated from individual residential lots to subdivisions, large-scale developments, PUDs, SPUDs, or what have you, and to commercial properties. Those are the 3 categories. And The limitation, we went through and I presented removing it from the residential. So that's included in the packet that you got. But what I also looked at was taking it out of the major minor subdivisions as well as the commercial projects. And what we're talking about right now is the subdivisions, that would not impact it. And the thing about it is, if you're in an existing subdivision, you are going to more than likely be less than half of an acre. There are some subdivisions where people have maybe half to 2/3 of an acre, 3/4 of an acre, or something like that. But in that situation, if the residential is moved forward, removing that limitation, anything larger than half an acre, they would be able to go up, but they would still be limited to try to keep them from impacting their neighbors.
I know our council previously put this in for a reason, and I do understand the necessity of having a limit. I just don't feel comfortable removing that limit. I would understand if we wanted to maybe increase it, but we need to have some type of definitive limit if we're gonna take this out. And that's something I'd be willing to discuss with everybody.
I think we had that. In no
Well-
instance can you be above
Well-
48 inches, correct?
Well, and that's what I'm saying is, if we take this out, I don't wanna just take this out
Next year, if you
completely,
go to
but
48.
do we go to 48? Do we go to 60?
You can't go. I thought that's part of it, is it, in no instance can you be above 48 inches, correct?
No, well, that was one of the things, and to explain it a little bit further, when I started going through this in preparation, because once it goes from here, and any changes or recommendations that you folks make is gonna go to the council. And in order to do that, we have to prepare the ordinance with the exact wording. And as I'm going through this, the things that I have changed or made recommendations in changing are things that I noticed as I was going through it. But I didn't want to put it upon myself to just change it without having the discussion. So one of the things is that 48 inch limit would obviously have to be removed on lots that are larger than 1/2 of an acre. So that portion would be changed. Originally, it was 36-inch average, nothing greater than 48 inches. But if it's changed so to allow field greater than 36 inches on a lot larger than 1/2 of an acre, then obviously that 48-inch limit would have to be removed as well.
Okay. Well, no, I'm very much in support of keeping the 36-inch, but at this time, the chair would like to entertain a motion. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we did a public hearing. Well, this time, we will open a public hearing. Ms. Stacy, anybody here to speak?
Amy Schilf.
Ms. Shelf.
Okay, so I think what I'm here to discuss is not part of this part. I think it's more about where the mitigated dirt is gonna come from adding the drainage basins into, where we're not limited to just getting our dirt from the watersheds. Because we've got a couple lots. We have a lot in Cessna that we bought back in 2021. And with the mitigated dirt, our first price that we got was $150,000. I mean, there's no way anybody can pay $150,000 just for dirt. That's more than I paid for the lot. Not to mention the additional engineering that you gotta pay to have the engineered mitigation plan done, which we got a price on that was another $5,500. So we decided to sell the lot, and we had it under contract. And then when they did their due diligence and they got their price, it was $100,000. So even if I got our price down to 110, but even at 110 and you add the 5,500, like it's still not doable. So I still keep getting calls about the lot because I still have it for sale. But I know it's just a matter of time before they back out as well, because nobody can afford to pay that much just for dirt to build a house. So with that being said, I feel like if they did open it up where it wasn't just strictly the dirt had to come from the mitigated watersheds, and it came from the drainage basins, maybe it would open up to we would have more people to give us quotes on said dirt. It would be a little more competitive, and we would have other options available to us.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, I know I kind of went out of turn with that.
No,
but-
well, just for the commission, just, there's an issue that's gonna come up a little bit further down that talks about limitations and where the mitigated fill can come from versus where it's going in watersheds versus drainage basins, and that's what she's talking about, but we're gonna get to that in just a little bit.
So,
Oh, let me turn you, yes, ma'am. Anybody else? Okay. At this time, we will close the public hearing. So, we've had a lot of comments, discussion. Chair will entertain a motion regarding this.
Now, this is just
Just item
for
2.
17507C1 to remove the 36-inch limitation.
I'm okay. I'm
For
okay.
subdivisions.
But I wanna make, so long as they can mitigate appropriately, no matter what the fill volume is there.
Sorry.
No, so whatever you raise your height to build, you've gotta be able to mitigate that amount, was it from the flood elevation? You know, you've got, that entire volume has to be mitigated
Correct.
on site. So if you go higher, you gotta dig a deeper pond, is basically what I'm saying. So as long as we're continuing that mitigation requirement, that you go as high as you need to, you still can't put water onto your neighbor, you can't.
You gotta have 20 feet or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
number is, if you go higher than 30.
Okay. We have a motion to approve as written by Commissioner Miller. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Kluwat. Do we have let's take a vote.
We need a discussion on the motion.
Discussion on the motion. Point of order, yes.
I don't have any. I just wanted to make sure that we had discussion on the motion, that's all.
Okay. As written,
Which means it's
which means the
removing the-
removal of, yes,
But still
And
having
look-
mitigation in place.
yes.
What I would like to do, I think we're gonna go through here and discuss each one of them. Like next, we'll do commercial lot development. We'll go for all of the changes under D. And these are just the changes that were made that were different than what was sent to you in the packet. So we'll go through the changes in each one of the little paragraphs, and once we do that, we'll go through the overall and make a motion in its entirety to say, we want to vote to approve this, including the changes, and make recommendation to the council, whatever those changes may be.
Okay. Then in that case, I need a point of order. Mr. Miller, would you retract your motion? So we could move forward with that?
No, I mean, that's,
Oh, do you want
what
to-
what we're doing is
Okay,
what I'm
just for
talking
this?
about, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
never mind. Okay,
Mr. Chairman.
yes, sir.
So, just for point of clarity, what happened was that earlier, we had received this proposed ordinance from Mr. Poche. Today, I sent to the chairman and to Mr. Poche some items that I said we should address these, talk about these. And that's what we're doing now. I was only talking about the ones that I submitted today, which I don't believe all of you got. I only sent them to Wade and to Eric. And so this is one of the ones that I sent today, and there are no other changes associated with this besides what I sent.
With this particular paragraph.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I would like to suggest that we go on to 17507D and look at the changes that were presented
First.
by Max
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, we have to
Okay.
go on this one first.
So at this point, we have a motion on the table with a second, discussion, and at this point, we got to call it to a vote to move forward, correct? Okay. Motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Kluwat. All in favor? Any opposed?
Nay.
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 Okay. Oh,
Well, you got 4.
okay. Let's have a roll call vote just to make sure. Commissioner Unitas?
Nay.
Commissioner Villa?
Nay.
Commissioner Miller?
Yay.
Commissioner Schexnayder? Nay. Commissioner Nasser?
Yay.
Commissioner Kluwat? Commissioner Jones? Okay, that motion fails. Do we have a substitute motion? Okay. That motion, this fails to move forward as written. Item 3, 175093, long-term accountability of mitigation facilities,
No,
right?
no, we have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Item D, I apologize. I'm trying to keep up with everything. For the commercial lot development,
Yes. For commercial lot development, we were looking to remove the average fill limitation of 36 inches on any lot less than 1/2 acre across a commercial development, as well as under 17507D 2A4, to amend that to read, fill for structures shall not be placed within any setback line as per Appendix 1 zoning tables. Should fill be placed closer than 10 feet from any property line, it must be contained within the foundation of the building or structure. Fill for any parking areas within any setback must be engineered, constructed, and certified with zero impact to adjacent properties. Those are the two changes under the commercial section under 17507D.
okay.
So I guess if you have any concerns about removing the 36-inch limit on any lot greater than 1/2 acre, and if you have no objection in allowing someone to fill and place their building to the regulated setbacks as long as it's contained within a foundation as well as the parking lot so they don't impact their neighbors.
Okay. Do we need to have a public hearing on that portion?
I mean, I would suggest any individual item that we discuss, if you want to open and close a public hearing, that's
Okay.
perfectly fine.
Is there anybody, well, let's have it, Ms. Stacy, is there anybody who's signed up to speak for this portion?
No.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing on that. Commissioners, any discussion regarding those changes?
Yeah, I'd like to clarify from my own mind. What we're looking at is D1, and we are adding where the first line would read, average fill shall not exceed 36 inches on any lot less than 1/2 acre.
Correct.
So we're adding on any lot less than 1/2 acre in D1. And then in D26,
D2A6.
D2A6, I missed the A, but it gets complicated. We are discussing adding, for it to read, fill for structures shall not be placed within any setback line as per Appendix I zoning tables. Should fill be placed closer than 10 feet from any property line, it must be contained within the foundation of the building structure, and fill for any parking areas within any setback must be engineered, constructed, and certified with zero impact to adjacent properties. Those would be the two things.
Okay.
But I think I would suggest that we actually take them one at a time, because someone may be in favor of one but not the other. If we make a motion for both of them at the same time, then it may
Okay,
confuse the issue. That's my suggestion.
okay.
Mr.
Then
Chairman.
we're going to open it up for the discussion for the first change, and that's, again, item D1. The change is recommended to, average fill shall not exceed 36 inches on any lot less than 1/2 acre across a commercial development, and the rest is the same.
And I'll move to add that. I'll make a motion to add that.
Okay. We have a motion to add by Commissioner Nasser, second by Commissioner Unitas. Do we have any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passed. Part 2, which is D2A6. Yes, ma'am.
All these have to be recommended to the council for approval.
Okay. Then, Mr. Max, would
And
you?
you have to go back to the one that failed and say that.
Okay, we sure will.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you for keeping us on top of that. Okay, point of order, then we will go back. let me correct this one first, and then we're gonna go back. I apologize.
Agenda.
Well,
These are amendments to what was on the agenda, proposed amendments. Which, excuse me, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. We can propose amendments to what's on the agenda, correct?
From what I think I'm following, there's an ordinance to amend section 17507, and y'all are making amendments to the ordinance to amend section 17507.
Yes, sir.
We are having trouble following where we're at, though, just a heads up. Was the original A and B changes approved, or did we just jump straight to C?
the original item A, under 13, was approved.
Yes.
When we get to B, the applicability
Was
portion
approved.
No, applicability was.
under B was approved, which is 17503A,
Correct.
Exhibit A, was approved.
And no
With-
recommended changes to
With
that.
no recommended changes, and we had one nay on that.
Right.
Okay. Item 2, placement of fill, it was also approved as written with, I think, one nay on that I'm sorry, take that back. It failed, that amendment, that recommendation failed
But not
5-2.
517-507, he's breaking down 17-507.
Yeah, 17507.
Right, so the
Which
original
is-
one was A and B. Was there a vote on A and B? And then y'all moved to C, and that failed.
Correct. Well, and this is what's so difficult.
No.
17503A, we passed. 17507, Part A, passed.
Removal of zone A.
Yes. 17507, Part B is what was denied.
No.
B1, correct.
I think that's not how it went.
Well, let's discuss it.
Let's
Mr.
discuss
Max.
it. Okay, so we're on item 13 on the agenda.
B2.
We're going to go to 13A on the agenda. That was approved.
Correct.
We're going to 13B. 13B1 was approved with no change. 13B2, we are currently discussing and proposing amendments to the section of the ordinance that was on the agenda that relate only to 13B2, placement of fill. After we go through and we vote on these proposed changes to 13B2, 13B3, and 13B4, then we will have a motion to adopt the ordinance as amended.
That's what he's asking. So, under 507, which is number 2 on there, section A right here has a change, but it got grouped in with B is what he's saying. So we're saying that you denied both A and B of this section.
No.
Then we need to go back and do A separately from B.
Could I show you?
A is fine.
Okay, A is
They did
fine.
recommend approval.
Yes.
Do you mind
B,
if I go talk to?
When you got to B2,
well, if we're on B1 at this moment,
we're not.
No, we're not.
B2.
well, I understand that, but I'm going back into.
B1 is fine.
B1 is fine. We've moved on for that. B2, which we don't go to B2, we actually go to C.
There is no C.
See, that's where
Y'all are
I got
talking two
confused
different
'cause we don't-
things.
I'm
You're talking
following the
agenda,
agenda.
and
that
he's
I was-
I'm talking under 15507, item C, under 507.
Okay, I'm following the agenda, so
I apologize. Okay. What we're talking about is in the ordinance that we
okay, I'm trying to
have.
do minutes, so
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know.
So what we're discussing, in fact,
Do we have a copy of the ordinance that we can give them and they can follow the ordinance?
Yeah, and that's because we don't have those changes that y'all discussed, and so it's just very hard to follow with all of the motions and not, but
Okay.
it's not, you're not recommending approval on these motions, you're motioning to approve the recommended amendment. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
We're only
Okay.
I'm sorry, Wade, you're the chair.
No, I mean, and this is our discussion. I understand where you come from, Ms. Stacy, and we're trying to figure out the best way to make this as correct as possible. What we have received is Commissioner Nasser has basically typed up his recommended changes. And we are, by his direction, going through these changes to what has been presented to the commission. And that's what we've been reading.
And then y'all are voting on each separate change, whether or not to include it in the ordinance to recommend to the council.
Correct. Yes, sir.
I'm following it barely.
Okay. I think,
Can I say
Yes.
something? What we're doing is, the changes what we're trying to do is, whenever, the packet that was sent to the commission in the packet last week, there were some changes that were recommended that were added to what was originally in the packet. And what we're doing right now, I think, is that we're going through those 2 or 3 changes to make sure that everybody is on the same page with those changes, and then we're gonna go through and vote on, once the amendments are decided upon, and then we're gonna go through, or they're gonna go through, and they're gonna take 17507 with
With
any
the
recommended
amendments.
changes as a
Right.
whole, and recommend approval or denial to the parish council.
Yeah, and I'm following that now.
Okay.
But it's just hard because I don't have the changes to follow
Because they've
y'all.
already failed.
Right, one failed, so it's just, when y'all make the motion, I don't know what's good. I'm not gonna be able to follow.
The motion's gonna be to exclude X, for example, in A, and whatever else we decide on these other, sub.
Right.
Correct.
Well, that's my question.
That's what your motion's gonna be.
Because my original was for the half acre thing. We skipped over removing X on 8, on 17,507A.
No, we don't have to.
1, 2, 3,
So
and 4
we're
were supposed to be
keeping
totally
that one,
different
only
public
removing
hearings.
The amendment portion to remove
Yes.
36 inches.
yes.
So the X stays, removing X stays in that.
Can I ask a question?
Mr. Jeff, yes, sir.
I'm not entirely clear that everyone everyone else on this side, I'm assuming you guys are reading from the document, but I'm not sure it's clear to all of us which items from the ordinance you're actually discussing while you're discussing them. Because it seems there's maybe some confusion between the items listed as A and B in the agenda versus items listed as A, B, and C in the ordinance itself. If we could have the ordinance maybe on the screen so we can all be referring to the same document, the same numbering and lettering system, I think maybe that would be helpful.
Okay. Thank you.
Because I got to tell you, I'm not certain which provision of the ordinance you guys did not pass.
So I have a
And not being
question.
certain which one you didn't pass,
Okay.
I think maybe I'd have had something to say about it during the public meeting.
I got you. Give us a moment,
Sure.
Mr. Jeff, and we're going to take that into consideration. Give me a moment. Yeah. At this time, look, we're gonna get this all settled. The chair is gonna entertain, let's take about a 10-minute recess. We're gonna discuss this, figure out how the best way to properly address this. I think we have some miscommunication on this. Ms. Stacy, are you okay with that? We take about a 10-minute recess and discuss and how the best move this forward? Okay. Mr. Spencer, you okay with that?
Yeah, I think 5 should.
Okay,
get us
I need
back
a,
on thing.
I need a motion to recess. Motion by Commissioner Kluwat, second by Commissioner Villa. Okay. The meeting is now called back to order. After, just to give everybody a little bit, we had some discussions. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion. Mr. Miller?
I would like to make a motion to table agenda item 13B 2, 3, and 4 until next month's meeting.
Okay, we have a motion to table items 13B, 2, 3, and 4 till next till next meeting. Second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor? Any opposed? Opposed was Mr. Nasser. That motion passed. That item will be brought up on next month's meeting. Item 14,
Motion.
motion to adjourn by Commissioner Miller. Meeting's over.